Hi guys, and welcome to this simple CSS video. This is Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. In this video we're going to go over some simple border CSS. In the last video we did margin, so I'm just going to go into our CSS style sheet and delete what we did last time. So here's our site folder. If anybody wants to use this simple site for a practice, you can download it from a link below. And the text editor we're using is one called Brackets. It's a free text editor. The link for it is also below this video. So here's our site folder. Inside the CSS folder, at the bottom, the simple CSS is the style sheet that we will be working on. So I'm just right clicking, I'm going to open it with our bracket software, and here it is. And I just want to comment out some of the stuff we did last time so we can demonstrate this better. And to comment stuff out, you just need to go / and then star, and then when you at the end of what you want to comment out, you need to do the opposite, which is star / obviously. Okay, we want to get rid of that. And this I'm just going to delete. And the margin. We covered margins in the last video. So I'm just going to delete that and Control S to save. And let's go back to our site. Now when I refresh, these should drop down here. The blue color should have gone. And hopefully I removed the border. I can't remember. Let's have a look, see. Yep, we did. That's fine. And what we're going to do is we've got three little boxes here. So let's just inspect one. I'm using Google Chrome here. It's great for doing a non-destructive CSS, so I suggest you use it as well if you're following along. So I'm going to hit the inspect. You can also hit Control-Shift-I or F12. And let's just pull that down slightly. And we want to get up to one of our boxes here, which is right here, box. Now let's try giving it a border. So we can use the simple class of border and then give it a style. And there's all kind of different styles. So we'll say border style, BORDER, dash style, colon. And then after the colon is where you want to put your class. So let's give it the class of solid. And as you can see, that's given it a medium size solid border all around our element here. And whatever div you want, that is the element that it's going to give the border to. So we've given it just a solid one there. And you can change the color by giving it a border color. Let's say red, make it stand out. There's different types of border as well. We can give it a dotted one. As you can see, that makes it dotted. We can give it a dashed one. We can give it a double border. And hopefully you can see that, but there's actually two lines there now. We can give it a grooved border. This may not affect it that much. Yeah, that looks pretty much the same, but it depends how thick you've got your border. You can give it an inset border. And there's a slight coloration there. Or an outset border. And it's given that sort of shadow to the other side there. And as with our padding, you can give it different elements on each one. So you can have dotted. That'll make the top dotted. And we can say dashed. That'll make the sides dashed with 2 elements. It's always top and bottom for the first element, dotted. Left and right for the second element, dashed. We'll give it a third element, solid. So we've got top dotted, left and right dashed, bottom solid. And we can give it double. That way it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4 different ones. And I hope you can see that. That's a double border on the left hand side there. And as I said, with padding and margins, the elements go top, right, bottom, and left. So let's just take that back to a solid. Color. And you can define the thickness of your border by giving it the attribute of border width. Let's say 5 pixels, and it'll make it 5 pixels thick. There we go, that's a 5 pixel border right there. You can have different values on each side again by going top, right, bottom and left, just like we did with the border style. And you can do the same thing with the colors. And to make life easier, you can, let's delete this. I'll just uncheck those. You can put them all together in one. So you can say border, colon, solid, 5 pixels, red. And that does the same thing as those 3 lines of code below there. Now you don't have to have borders on all sides. You can have some great effects just by having them on the bottom, on the top, on the left and the right. And that's easily done. Let's say border top. Two pixels, solid, red. And as you can see, you've got a border top of 2 pixels, solid and red. Obviously you put any attribute you want in there. You can have it dashed, dotted, however you want it. And if you want one on the bottom as well, you can add another one, border bottom. Solid, 2 pixels, red. And as you can see, I've put those a different way around there and it still works absolutely fine. It's probably a good idea to keep them the right way around, but it works either way. And of course you can have left and right borders on their own also. So border, right, 2 pixels, solid, black. And as with the other one, if you want one on the other side, let's do border left, same thing. Two pixels, solid, black. So that's very easy to do. Another effect is to have rounded border edges. So let's just change this back to, let's just refresh this quickly and destroy that so there's nothing there. Start again. Let's change this to border, two pixels, solid, black. And now we'll make it rounded. We'll give it some rounded edges. And to do that, it's the border radius, B-O-R-D-E-R, radius. And we'll give it a radius of, say, 5 pixels. And as you can see there, it's given it some slightly rounded corners. I'll emphasize that a bit more. The higher the pixel ratio, the more rounded the corners. So let's give it 15 pixels, and that should stand out a lot more. There we go. There's 15 pixels. You see this quite often. And if you want a completely rounded element, you can give it a 50% border radius. Now this usually works best on square elements. That doesn't quite look square, but let's do it and see what happens. So 50, and we'll use the percent instead of a pixel ratio. There we go. Yeah, it's not quite square. It's an oblong. But that's the effect you get. If that was a square, then that would be completely round. A perfect circle there. Let's see if we can make this square with a bit of padding. I know this isn't about padding, but just for an example. So let's take that padding element away. If you hover over that element, it shows us we're on our boxes here. So let's make the padding, let's take that away. And we're going to want a lot top and bottom and not so much on the left and right there. So take that away and let's do padding. Let's give it, say, 60, I'm guessing. We can change it in a minute. That'll be 60 top and bottom and 10 picks, say, left and right. It's close. That's not quite a perfect circle. Let's try 80. There we go. That's pretty much a circle right there. Okay, so say we're happy with our CSS. We want to make it permanent. We need to copy this over to our style sheet. So all I'm going to do is copy what we've just done there. Border and border radius. Go to our style sheet. Control C to copy this. And back to our style sheet in brackets. And it was on the box element right here. If we look back, you can see we're on the box. It's got the class of box, so this is what we're working on here. And it's also there. So I could do the same thing by not having that there. I could place that actually on the box element here. And it will do the same because they're all the same element there. They're all called box. They've all got the class of box. So it applies it to all three of them. So for ease, let's just copy these 3 ones we've changed here. Control C. Back to our brackets. And here's our box element here. We changed that padding, so I'm just going to select that. I'm going to paste all our new CSS in right there. Now I'm going to do a quick save, Control S. Back to our site. We can get rid of the inspector now. Now when I refresh, this should stay the same. There we go. There you have it. There is a brief overview of using border CSS with your website. And this is CSS3, so it works with HTML, it works with Bootstrap. You can even apply this to your WordPress websites. Most of them now have a nice CSS, custom CSS box you can apply it to. If they don't, it's a good idea to apply a child theme if you're working with WordPress. So there you have it, border CSS. I hope you found this useful. If you have, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're interested in web design, please take one of our courses below. We have them heavily discounted for our YouTube subscribers. And there's also some great free courses down there as well. So once again, this has been Jamie from System22 and webdesignandtechtips.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.